Hi everyone, I'm Rukmini. Welcome back to our third video on accounting for high school. In previous video, we talked about journal entries regarding the starting of business as well as the journal entry regarding the purchase. In this video, we'll be talking about journal entries regarding sales, transaction, and also about drawings. So the first one is journal entry regarding the sales. As like journal entries regarding the purchase, there are also many conditions on sales. We can sell it on cash, we can sell it on credit, we can sell it through bank. After selling, we might receive the good again, is the return inward. And while selling, we might also give cash discount and trade discount to the buyer. So the first type of entry is goods sold for cash. When we sell good for cash, we receive the cash. As the cash follows the real account principle, that is debit what comes in. So cash account goes on debit side. When we sell goods, our assets goes out. As I mentioned in my previous video, we do not write the word goods in journal. Instead of it, we write purchase or sell. When we have purchased good, we write purchase account. When we sell good, we write sales account. So the entry is cash account debit to sales account. For example, goods sold for cash worth $50,000. In this case, we have received the cash after we have sold the good. So cash comes in, cash account debit, and our goods goes out, so to sales account credit. So the next type of entry is goods sold to debtor. Sometimes it might be the case that our customer might not have enough money. So he will say that I don't have enough money, I will pay you later. In this case, we don't receive cash. That is, the person buying the goods from us is our assets. We need to receive cash from him. So he goes on debit side since he's an asset to us. So debtors account debit to sales account. For example, goods sold to Mr. Y worth 10,000. As you can see that here Mr. Y is receiving the goods. He's receiving the assets. So Mr. Y follows personal account rule, and the rule of personal account is debit the receiver. Here Mr. Y has received the goods, so he goes on debit side, and the sales goes on credit side as I mentioned before. The next type of entry is sales return or return inward. After we have sold goods, sometimes it might be the case that the goods was not worth using, so the buyer or our customer might return it back to us. So in this case, the journal entry will be sales return account debit to debtors account. The journal entry for return is just as opposite to the journal entry of credit sales. The journal entry of credit sales was debtors account debit to sales account. So the journal entry of sales return good will be sales return account debit to debtors account. For example, goods sold returned by Mr. Y. In this case, Mr. Y is the giver, so he goes on credit side. And sales goes on credit side, so the sales return is the exact opposite of sales, so it goes on debit side with their respective amount. The next type of entry is sold in check. We might not always sell goods in cash. Sometimes the customer might also provide us with their check. In this case, we receive the check. That is, as I mentioned before, we don't write check in journal entries. Instead of check, we write bank account. We receive the check, so debit what comes in, bank account debit, and sales in the credit side. For example, goods sold by check of $1 million. We have received the check, that is bank account debit to sales account of $1 million. The next type of entry is cash discount. If you have watched my previous video, I have clearly mentioned in my previous video that there are two types of discount, cash discount and trade discount. Cash discount is the discount that is mentioned in the journal entry, and trade discount is not. So in this case, when we sell good with discount, when we are selling good, we give discount. That is, it is an expense to us. So as discount follows the nominal account principle, that is debit all expenses and losses, credit all income, gain and profit, discount goes on debit side when we sell good. If you want to learn this through the formula, learn it like this. Or if you want to learn it in an easy way, as I mentioned before, keep discount in that side of the journal where there is cash account. In this case, cash account is in debit side, so discount also goes on debit side. For example, sold goods worth $10,000 by cash with 10% discount. In this case, we have sold goods and we have received cash, so cash goes on debit side. But we have not received cash of 10,000 in full. That is, we have provided our customer with 10% discount. So we have received only 9,000 in total, and the remaining 1,000 is a loss to us. So discount account debit of $1,000 to sales account of $10,000. Trade discount is not recorded in the journal, as like that of purchase. Trade discount sold by cash and trade discount received. As I mentioned before, trade discount is not recorded in journal entry. So the entry will be cash account debit to sales account. For example, sold goods of 50,000 by cash and 10% trade discount given. We have sold goods of 50,000 and we have received cash, but we have given trade discount of 10%. Unlike cash discount, we don't record trade discount in journal entry. So the entry will be just cash account debit to sales account by subtracting the trade discount given. That is, we enter only 90% of 50,000, that is 45,000 in journal. So the next type of entry can be trade discount and cash discount. Sold by cash and cash discount as well as trade discount given. In this case, as like opposite to the purchase entry, the journal entry will be cash account debit, discount account debit to sales account. For example, furniture sold by cash 10,000 and 10% cash discount and 10% trade discount given. As like that in purchase, first of all we deduct the trade discount, and from the remaining amount we deduct the cash discount. As the journal entry is cash account debit, discount account debit to sales account. In the sales account, we don't enter the full amount, that is 10,000. We enter the amount that is after the trade discount, that is 90% of 10,000. We keep 9,000 only in sales account. Then after deducting trade discount, we deduct the cash discount and keep it in discount account. So the 10% of 9,000 is 900. 900 goes on discount account, that is in debit side. So the remaining amount, that is 9,000 minus 900, 8,100 goes on debit side of cash account. So the next type of entry is partial payment and full settlement. When we sell goods, our customer might say that I don't have enough money, take this much and I will pay you the remaining later on. In this case, the journal entry will be cash account debit, the actual amount that you have received in the spot, Mr. Y account debit, or the name of the customer which has bought good from you and have not given you the money yet, to sales account. And after some days, he will return you the cash back. In this case, you will receive the money, so the accounting entry will be cash account debit to Mr. Y account. The Y account is in credit side because in the second case he is the giver to us. For example, on 8th of May, goods sold worth 20,000 to Mr. Y and 5,000 received. We have sold goods worth of 20,000, so the sales account in the credit side is of the amount 20,000. But we have received only 5,000. Debit cash that we have received is only of 5,000. The remaining amount is an asset to us. We need to receive that from Mr. Y back. So the remaining 15,000 goes on debit side to the heading of Mr. Y account. And on the 9th of May, Mr. Y paid us the amount in full settlement. That is, in this case, we have received the cash again. the remaining cash we have received in this case again. So cash account debit 15,000 to Mr. Y account. The next type of entry is drawing. Drawing can be of two types. It can be a personal drawing or it can be a business drawing. When we have withdrawn the goods for personal use, it is personal drawing. And when we have withdrawn the goods for the business use, it is called business drawing. Let's look at the personal drawing first. Suppose goods and cash withdrawn for purchase use. When we withdraw something for personal use, the entry will be drawing account debit to anything that you withdraw. If you withdraw cash, cash goes on credit side. And if you withdraw any goods, it is recorded as to purchase account. For example, goods worth 10,000 and cash 5,000 withdrawn for personal use. The journal entry will be drawing account debit 15,000 to cash account 5,000 to purchase account 10,000. Purchase account represents goods worth 10,000, cash account 5,000 on credit side, and the total was on debit side 15,000 in the heading of drawing account. The next type of drawing is business drawing. Cash withdrawn for business use. When we withdraw something or for business use, the journal entry will be cash account debit to bank account. This is because when we withdraw cash from bank, we receive the cash, that is cash account debit, and our bank balance decreases, that is our assets decreases, so bank goes on credit side. For example, cash $30,000 withdrawn for business use. In this case, we have received the cash of 30,000, so cash account debit. Our bank balance, that is our asset, has decreased from $30,000, so it goes on credit side. So this is all for today. In the next video, we'll be discussing about some abnormal entries and some common questions. If you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. The link to the PowerPoint file is in the description below. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.